An alcoholic's holiday. What to carry on this was. Going back a lot of years now. Probably about 28 years ago. Me and my ex-wife decided to have a trip down to Lake Garda, Lake Como, Northern Italy. We used to drive down there, goodness knows why, and stop in one of these Euro camp things. You know, that's all set up for you. It's pretty good actually when you get there, and there's plenty of facilities. Anyway, we set off, as always, late. Managed to get the ferry on time. Feeling a bit rough, so got over to France. A couple of stops in France, had a few drinks, all this sort of thing. And the whole holiday really was nearly 3 weeks. I took some extra time off from work. It was really just for me just to have a few drinks. We'll have a lot of drink in the end, really. But prior to that, we had quite a lot of credit cards. Well, I had quite a lot of credit cards because I used to use them for booze. Central London is not a cheap place to drink. I worked in Central London. I was in the police. And I used to love the little Central London pubs. A lot of characters in them, including myself at some points. And I think I had about 4 or 5 cards, maybe more, credit cards. And I was using them at the Bureau de Change to get cash out. In those days, you get cash on your card, you see. Especially if you're in a policeman's uniform, nobody questioned it. You just put your card over, and it would always be quite a big fee. But I didn't realise how much I was spending, to be honest with you. And some of the statements were coming through pretty heavy at the time. And I thought, wow, she sees these, is going to be hell on. So it sounds funny now, but it wasn't at the time. Because those work shifts, I used to intercept the statements from the postman and hide them, you see. And I knew this holiday was coming up, but it was summertime, so it was a great time to drink. And I was on this squad where I was just doing 8 or 4s, I think. So we finished at 4 and then have a few beers, didn't we? Especially in London, it's a good atmosphere and plenty of people about. So it was an excuse to drink if you're a heavy drinker. So this went on and on and on. So I kept intercepting the statements. And the fees were going up, late payment fees and all that would add up. So we had money in the system, as it were, but we got a bit tight at one point. And I thought, well, we'll just use the credit cards for this holiday. It was all booked. It seemed to go okay, but I had no way of checking it then. There was no sort of mobile apps, and there was no mobile phones at that time. I had a pager for work, that was about it. And we're going on holiday, and I'm just wondering, God, that one's nearly up to £2,000, that one's nearly up to 5 in my head, I had a rough idea what the figure was. And so I had a reasonable holiday, and she did. My daughter was there, and we, did the usual things. And on the way back, I felt so hungover on the way back. Well, I had about 3 or 4 stops. It wasn't a rush back. But I knew I'd be working on the next Monday or Tuesday, and I think we left about Thursday. On the Sunday, I remember getting to the Swiss-Italian border. And we were quite low on diesel. I had one of those Land Rover Discoveries. I was heavy on the juice. And this little garage, and I've got these credit cards. We did have some cash as well. It was even before the euro, I can't remember now, in the car. I had some British pounds, and I had some, whatever it was, Italian lira, it might have been even. And I put about 60 quid worth of diesel in this car. It was one of these really remote garages on a very windy road. I think that the Mont Blanc tunnel might have been closed. I can't remember exactly. So this old woman behind the counter, probably as old as me now, and I went in, had my wallet, first credit card, no chance, but bounced. Second credit card got bounced. Third credit card got bounced, and the fourth one got bounced. So I'm thinking, wow, there's a problem with this machine. My wife came in, she was saying, what's taking so long, So I don't know, maybe the machine. And it wasn't the machine, was it? So these people, £60 or so. And in these remote places, there's always a lot of people behind the scenes, so this big geezer came out. And he said, what's the problem? In Italian, to her, obviously. Then somebody else came out, about 4 or 5 of them at this point. I'm thinking, wow, this is a bit juicy, this. I'm going to have to try and find a way of paying this bill. So she's going crazy with me. What's wrong with the credit cards? Have you maxed them out and all that? Why haven't I seen the statements? The stress of it all was crazy. So we managed to get a bit of money together. And what we had in the car, really, and pay for that bill. And I thought, well, how are we going to get home? So I thought, I had this bright idea, because I'd had a few drinks anyway, of driving to Geneva and going into a police station and using their phones. Because I thought, well, at least I can get a landline through to Bartley card or somebody like that. So ended up going to Geneva. Beautiful day, I never forget it. Driving past the fountain, the big lake near there, the headquarters of the police station then in Geneva. Sunday afternoon, pretty quiet it was actually, to be honest. And I walked in, I was a sergeant at the time. I walked in, had my warrant card obviously, police warrant card. And I walked in and he spoke perfect English obviously, very smart lad he was. And I said, I showed him my warrant card. He said, that's interesting, sort of thing. I said, look, I need to use your telephone to ring one of these credit card companies. He was a bit bemused at first. He said, come through. And he said, are you Scotland Yard? Scotland Yard? I said, yeah, I've done a bit of work at Scotland Yard. I had a bit of chat, had a cup of tea. Anyway, I rang Bartley card. I want two of the companies who wouldn't extend any credit on it. I thought, my God, because they were saying so many late payments on it, we can't give you any more credit card, any more credit limit. So I'd maxed 4 of the cards out, to be honest. And eventually one of them gave in, as it were. So if you can get a police report to say you've lost something or whatever, or get some sort of police reference, in the end they spoke to the Swiss police and they verified who I was, the registration of the car, and all this sort of thing. And I think they gave me a couple of £100 extra credit limit to get home with fuel. What a carry on, the stress of all that. Now, there's no mobile phones. I didn't want to ring my parents. My dad would just said, bugger off. Her parents weren't interested, so nobody would actually borrow any money from. There are a lot of people in that situation. Money was a bit tight for a lot of people at that time, as it is today. And what a mess I got myself into. The stress of it all. The fact I had no money, my daughter was only about 2 years old, and all this. All of this has been created just by drinking. And drinking too much. And it got me to the point where I'm thinking, wow, it's far too dangerous, this boozing. I tried to calm it down again, but it came back again. I went back on it again. And the same thing happened to max the credit cards out again. It's this addiction to it and this need for the drink can lead you down all sorts of strange and dangerous pathways. Not just with your health and your mental health and physical health, but all sorts of reasons, all sorts of things can happen to you when you're drinking, because your finances will collapse, your life will collapse, your body will collapse, everything will collapse. Your work may collapse. Fortunately, mine didn't. I was able to function and do okay, but a lot of people I speak to have got massive financial issues. And to be honest with you, if I hadn't been in the position I was and had maybe some cash behind me as in the police pension and stuff later on in life, then I would have been pretty screwed, and I think that probably would have drunk myself to death. So it's just a story about just one incident that nearly tipped me over the edge, all because I've been drinking too much, because the knock-on effect of not paying the bills, getting too much money out, it was all down to drinking. There's no other reason for it. But plenty of limit on it if I hadn't been boozing, or hadn't been boozing to such an extent. And then I'd think about now, my daughter's 31, how irresponsible was I to take a 2-year-old to Italy in a car. And I wasn't drinking and driving, she did most of the driving. It's madness, isn't it? Absolute madness what I did. And it's not as madness what other people do as well. So many risks you take, and there's no need for it. You get off the booze, get in contact with me, I'll help you. If you benefit from the channel, please subscribe and like it and share it, and we'll get together as a community and let's work together and get sober. That's the only way. Drinking will kill you. It'll kill your life off and it'll make you very miserable. Speak soon.